Welcome back to the Career Evangelist podcast, listeners. Today we have a special treat for you all forward thinking and career driven individuals out there. I have a guest with us, Agate Leroy. She's a dynamic executive recruiter and career coach who is helping job seekers manifest new jobs, especially in the fashion and luxury industry. With a cross-cultural flair and passion for joyful discipline, Agate is here to redefine your relationship with work and help you reach your full potential in your chosen industry. So, guys, get ready to be inspired and energized by a vibrant personality and invaluable insights. So, let's dive in. Hey, Agate, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bola. I'm very excited to speak with you today.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm happy to have you join us here today. Uh, in your own words, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to our community so that they can know who Agate is?
Absolutely. Um, well, I've had multiple careers. I've worked in multiple fields, uh, but for the past 18, maybe 19 years now, I've been an executive recruiter. So I'm hired by companies to find them talent. And I especially focus on management, executives, retail, sales, marketing, finance. And I get paid to find talent. And then a couple of years ago, I burned out. And because I had done a little side project on the side, and I burned out, and I realized that a lot of the people that are ambitious and driven tend to burn out. And so I had to learn to get back on my feet. And now I coach people who are highly driven, ambitious, want to reach their potential, to get there without burning out, and because I think it's very important um, in today to keep your resources and go for the long run. So that's what I do.
Oh, thank you very much for that introduction. Uh, I've often heard people talk about burnouts, and I think it's a big issue because most of my listeners, they are also highly driven. I want you to touch on how can we attain balance, whether it is work-life balance or some mental break. What are some tips that you know that help you to overcome your burnout?
So it's not a few tips, it's a mind shift.
My shift. Okay.
Yeah. So you have to shift your mind. And I'm going to tell you the analogy I use
Okay.
to help this mind shift. So I use the analogy of the spaceship, right?
Mm-hmm.
A spaceship to take off from the ground needs to fire a lot of fuel
Mm-hmm.
because the spaceship needs to break through gravity.
Yes.
And maybe you've seen it on TV for the moon landing or what, but when the spaceship arrives above the atmosphere, it detaches the tank because the tank is heavy, but it's empty and it's useless. And then the spaceship fires a small set of engine and goes into outer space where there is no gravity. When I watched that documentary on Apollo 11, that's when I had my aha moment, because when I saw the tank detach, I realized that to go to the next level, you have to let go what served you to get to the first base.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was like, oh, you can use tips and improvement and performance when you're, in the first stage of your career. But at the next level, you need to let go of that to really experience being in zero gravity, where things are easy, where you're not hustling. and struggling and pushing. And I think the mind shift is like, it's counterintuitive because we think we have to do more and do more and do better and improve. No, once you're in zero gravity, you do less, but you're more intentional, you're more aligned, you do a little bit more inner work, and then the outer work is easier.
Okay, thank you. I completely understand the spaceship analogy, but I want to bring it a little bit closer to people, to job, maybe the high growth individual out there. They've worked hard, maybe as individual contributor, and they've been able to make some progress in their career. Now, maybe they are getting into leadership, and maybe that's where they are above the atmosphere, so to speak. And you talked about this mindset shift. You said people need to be more intentional, right? What are some strategies or some shift that people need to make in order to, be successful once they are up there in their career?
Yeah. So I'm very pragmatic. So I'm happy you asked me that because, concepts are good. But when in your professional life, there are moments where if you feel that burnout is coming, if you feel that you want more, but despite all your efforts, it's not coming. When you experience that resistance, that we call, then the tendency is for us to do more. And when we do more, that's how we burn out. So as a recruiter, the skills I look for is drive, ambition, vision. And when people have too much drive, too much ambition, and too much vision, they can go after it, and not realize that they're spending a lot of energy there. And that's when they feel burnout. They feel tired, exhausted. They wonder what's happening. And so I'm going to give you practical guidelines that I give to the people I coach. One is that if something is resisting you professionally, it's often because we are too close to the subject. So the idea is to really have a far enough goal so that you really have something that pulls you that is far enough. So if we take back the spaceship wants to go to the moon. It's not looking to just go to bypass gravity. It looks to go to the moon. Professionally, when we have long-term goals, then when we encounter small obstacles, they're easier to go over because, we have this long-term goal. So to give a practical example, if you're looking for a job, or when people are looking for a job, they tend to look, what's my next job? And I always say, well, think of pushing a little bit further and imagine yourself in 5 years, 10 years. Who do you want to be? And from there, you are going to see if your next job is the right one or not. So really push it a little further. And who do you want to be? Not what is my next job? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So that's aligning your personality, your personal goals with your position or your position that you aspire to be in. So I get that, and thanks for sharing that. Agathe, you talked a lot about manifesting the job that you want. And now I want to hear from you. How can a job candidate manifest a new job?
So manifesting is really it's a great question because it's a tricky subject and a subject that is talked a lot everywhere. How do you manifest something? And manifesting is, for me, 3 different steps. The first one is knowing what you want. which seems obvious, but this is a big question when when you speak with people who are looking for a job. They know what they don't want. Oh, I don't want a bad boss. I don't want this. I don't want, but they don't know necessarily what they want. So refining what you want is the first. And then when you know what you want, the idea is finding the feeling that is going to go with it. Meaning, when you have it, how are you going to feel?
Mm-hmm.
That feeling is very important,
Mm-hmm.
because that feeling is available to you now. So let's say I want a job and I'm looking for a job and I want to be head of marketing, right?
Right.
That's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be head of marketing for a fashion brand. So already having a specific idea of what I want, and maybe that's in 5 years. Maybe there's, becoming a VP in between. There's steps. But then is what is the feeling I'm going to have when I am that head of marketing? Am I going to feel in control? Am I going to feel valuable? Am I going to feel like I'm running a show? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the feeling that emerges for you, and all feelings are good. You just have to find why is it you want it,
Mm-hmm.
and then start practicing that feeling,
Okay.
so that the job doesn't come for you to experience the feeling, but you start practicing the feeling that will lead you to that job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the third step is you drop it. You drop the idea of how it's supposed to come, when it's supposed to come, why it's supposed to come or not. So you drop uh, the worries, or the why, when. Tell me more. That's the process.
Okay. No, that's good. Know what you want, and I think that's extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are thousands or maybe millions of job candidates, job seekers out there. I want to, maybe you have one or two suggestions for them on how they can leverage career coaches like yourself. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they can tap into their expertise so that we can help them in their job search process.
Yes. So when I coach, I go through. I created a clarity card, which is a process. It's a deconstructed resume.
Mhm.
And as a recruiter, this is the information I'm looking for in the first meeting. So when somebody comes and I have to interview them for a role, I need really quickly, in 20 minutes, 30 minutes max, to know who they are. And that means, what are their hard skills, the skills that are measurable? What are their soft skills, meaning how do they do the job they do? What is a specific example of an achievement they've done? And maybe this method. It's called the STAR method:
Absolutely.
situation, task, action, and result.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really a great method to show one achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing is, I want to know why. Why are they doing what they're doing? What motivates them? What drives them?
Okay.
So that's what I ask. And then I created a small exercise. It's an hour exercise that really, I think, is really cool, called the vision card, is to really be able to talk about yourself. Because when recruiters interview, let's say I'm looking for a head of marketing, I'm going to interview 20 heads of marketing. So they're all going to be, the same. So how do you differentiate yourself between everybody else? And that's being able to talk about what makes you unique.
Mm-hmm.
What you like to do in life? Who are the people that you look up to? What are, you know, what are the things that excites you? What are the things that you're ready to let go? All these things.
Oh,
So that's how having a little bit more context about the human behind just the candidate is important.
no, that's awesome. So, as good as it is to talk about best practices and what job seekers should do, it's also
Mm-hmm.
important to talk about maybe mistakes and challenges that you found professionals make out there. So, what are some challenges that you have found, or maybe mistakes that is not helping people get their to land a new role, so to speak?
Well, thank you for asking because I actually have created a newsletter just for that,
Okay.
which I call the seven sins of interviewing,
So,
and yeah, all the seven things that you should not do in interviewing, and you get it when you join my newsletter, which is on my website. And I'll give you a few because it's so important what you asked.
mhm,
The one of the things when people ask you this question, tell me about yourself,
mhm.
you have to be able to answer in a very quick way. So one of the first thing I really invite anybody who's looking for a job is to learn to speak about yourself within 3 minutes to answer that tell me about yourself question.
Okay.
It's really who you are today, and what you want in less than 3 minutes, and then let the interviewer ask you more questions, because it's a very conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the first thing. And the second that I love, that I always say, and it's a very easy one to correct, is talk about yourself in the present time,
Okay.
especially if you're in between jobs. If you don't have a job and you're looking for one, you are a marketing executive, and I was a marketing executive at this company.
Mm.
Always talk about yourself in the present time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Agat,
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about mentoring because I think it's very important and beneficial to working professional. So can you discuss some importance of mentorship and the role that it plays in career development?
Mm-hmm. You're right to talk about mentorship because it's and it I don't use necessarily the term mentorship because I find it more formal, but you're absolutely right. You have to have people on your team. So I said, who's on team Bola or who's on team Agate,
Yeah.
right? Who's on team you?
Mm-hmm.
And having a list of 5, 10 people that are people you trust, professionals. It could be colleagues, ex-colleagues. It could be young people, because I love the reverse mentoring,
Yeah.
learning from younger
Uh-huh.
people, who are more in tune with what's happening today. And colleagues, references, like the people you need your references. Reach out to them once a year or every 6 months, just to keep them updated. Colleagues, um, maybe it's somebody who is not doing the same job, but is part of your industry, an industry expert that you have to keep, and always have somebody. That's why I love having a coach. I coach and I have a coach because somebody who's very neutral, not friends and family, because they want to, they're always on your side and they want you happy, so they'll tell you what you need. But that's what a coach is. Like, he's somebody that is neutral, that is going to help you see your blind spots, and help you be a bit accountable. That's also fantastic.
Awesome. I like that. So I'll ask your, cross-cultural background, living in New
Mm-hmm,
York and Milan influenced your
mm-hmm.
approach to executive recruiting and career coaching.
Um, well, I was born in Morocco, and then I was raised in Malaysia, and then I worked for in the US and in Latin America. So I thrive in New York because everybody's from different part. We're all, coming to New York City from somewhere else, speaking different languages and having different habits and likes. But what was important for me recently being in Milan is learning how to navigate a more maybe less the hustle culture. I think in New York, in the US, we have a very work hard, play hard culture, very performance driven, very result oriented. And I played with that, and it's fun because it's like, you make it or you don't. It's like go big or go home, all these things. But I found that in Europe, there's a more wholesome attitude where people are also who they are on weekends. Their family is important, the sports they do, or the books they read. And so that has helped me kind of rebalance a bit. And it's a good thing to counterbalance burnout, because burnout is a good thing, but you have to really know when to stop. It's that fine line. So yeah.
Okay, so as we are wrapping this episode, I have some rapid fire question for you.
Yes, go for it.
So, Agate, what's the top quality that you look for in a candidate? Is it experience or their attitude? Which one would you consider the most important?
I think in the past it was experience, and I think now it's attitude. I think since COVID, things have changed so much that without a curious attitude and resilience, your experience is not enough.
Okay.
But things might change, so.
Change is a constant thing. So anything can change at any time. A lot of emphasis is placed now on the importance of having an all-star LinkedIn profile. So in your opinion, LinkedIn profile or excellent resume, which is more crucial in today's job market? Or both.
Yeah, I know. It's like, and I was going to say actually none of them. But I'll do a disclaimer. On LinkedIn, keywords are important because it's an algorithm. So you have to put your keywords. On my LinkedIn, I have my clients. I've worked with Louis Vuitton, for example. So if people look for Louis Vuitton, they're going to hit my page. So keywords are important on your LinkedIn. There's a great tool for your resume. It's called jobscan.io, jobscan, SCAN, where you put the job description and you put your resume, and it shows if you are matched, at which percentage you're matched. You know this one. Yeah. So that's a good one. I always say it's never the resume. It's people stay stuck rewriting their resume and having 7 versions of their resume. That's energy that can be going to waste. As you said, for the mentor, I think networking with people, and I find that sending comments in people's, commenting, posting a few things, sharing what, a quote that you like on LinkedIn is much more efficient. And connecting with people on LinkedIn is much more efficient.
I agree. Thank you for sharing that.
Good. Well, we're on the same page.
Best piece of advice for someone looking to switch career, maybe into the fashion and luxury industry this time around, what would you say to them?
Be able to speak about yourself. Speak of yourself, but more than just what you do. It's who you are, Like, I like running in Central Park. I love, hanging out with my kids. I love Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Like all these little things that make you unique. That's very important to stand out. So you're not just, a candidate for a position.
You talked about drive, ambition, and vision when we were speaking, right? In your opinion, what's one skill that you would recommend for every professional to have that will help in them in their career development?
One skill?
Yeah.
Hmm. That's hard. You're asking me only one skill. Uh, I think honesty.
Honesty.
Honesty with yourself.
Honesty.
So that the goals that you are pursuing are not the goals that everyone has told you should be doing, but honesty when you are with yourself, like how do you feel today? If you feel exhausted, if you're tired, so that you can have an honest look and say, okay, I need a break. Or honesty, like, I want to be a millionaire. What for? Like, who wants that? Or is it just, I want to be the best in my dream? Like, the capacity to see yourself with honesty, I think is important.
Absolutely. So honesty with yourself, know what you want. You mentioned that early as well.
Mm-hmm.
Agate, thank you very much for coming on the show. And finally,
Thank you, brother.
where can my listeners find you so that they can connect with you and continue this journey with you?
I guess the easiest place is to find me on LinkedIn. And my name is Agate Leroux, and I know it's French, so it's Agate, and then it's Lerolle. And I always connect on LinkedIn. And I think it's important to, this platform can be very um, just algorithm. So say hi, just drop a note, and I'll be happy to chat with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you for hosting this. It's very important, these conversations, and for everybody to really feel motivated and find inspiration. So thank you.
That's right.